When a country puts a tariff on imports, who really pays the price? It might sound like a simple question. Tax the other country's goods, but the answer is not as straightforward as it seems. Tariffs are taxes on imports, but the ones who end up paying them are often not foreign producers, but local businesses and consumers. Let us break it down. When a government places a tariff on a product, say, steel from another country, that added cost is charged at the border when the good enters the country. But that cost does not just disappear. The company importing the steel now pays more, and to protect its profits, it usually passes that cost on to its customers. That means manufacturers, construction firms, and even everyday shoppers might end up paying higher prices not just for steel, but for anything that uses it: cars, appliances, even bridges. So, while tariffs are designed to hurt foreign producers by making their goods more expensive, they often hit the domestic economy too. You can see this clearly in history. In the early 1930s, the United States passed the Smoot-Hawley Tariff Act. It raised tariffs on over 20,000 imported goods in an effort to protect American jobs during the Great Depression. But other countries retaliated with their own tariffs, and global trade collapsed. American farmers lost overseas markets. Exporters suffered. Prices rose, jobs were lost, and the Great Depression deepened. Smoot-Hawley is now widely seen as a major economic policy failure, and a cautionary tale about using tariffs during a downturn. But tariffs have not always backfired. In the 19th century, the United States used tariffs heavily to protect its young industries from stronger European competition. These tariffs helped American manufacturers grow until they were competitive on a global scale. Germany did something similar during its industrial rise. So did Japan in the 20th century. In those cases, tariffs were part of a strategy to support developments, sometimes successfully. In modern times, we saw this debate resurface during the U.S.-China trade war starting in 2018. The U.S. placed tariffs on hundreds of billions of dollars of Chinese imports, aiming to pressure China into changing certain economic practices. China responded with its own tariffs on U.S. goods like soybeans and pork. At first glance, it looked like a hardline stance. But the economic impact was mixed. American farmers lost key markets and needed billions in government aid to recover. Some manufacturers faced higher costs, while others relocated supply chains to avoid the tariffs entirely. A study from the Federal Reserve found that most of the costs of U.S. tariffs were passed on to American consumers through higher prices. So, back to the question, who really pays for tariffs? In theory, they are supposed to hurt the exporter. But in practice, it is often the importers and end users' businesses and households who absorb the extra cost. That means tariffs can act like a hidden tax on the local economy, especially when they are broad or long-lasting. But tariffs are not just about economics, they are political tools too. They can be used to signal strength, apply pressure, or appeal to voters worried about job losses. In the short term, they can protect industries from unfair competition. In the long term, they can discourage efficiency, limit trade, and raise costs. The key is understanding that tariffs are not free. Someone always pays. Whether they are used wisely or recklessly depends on the broader strategy and how ready a country is to handle the consequences. Because in global trade, every action has a price tag. And with tariffs, that price often lands closer to home than most people realize.